What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video I'm going to show you my very famous sugar cookie recipe and show you how I decorated my Christmas cookies this year. If that sounds fun to you, then just keep watching. All you need is a pound of butter, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, 5.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of granulated sugar, and salt and baking powder. So the first thing we're going to do is cream the butter and the sugar. Once those are creamed, you're going to add the 2 eggs and the vanilla. You can either crack them right into the bowl, or you can just put it in a bowl and then fish out any shells that may get in there. So we will continue mixing until it's well mixed, scraping down the sides, making sure that it is all incorporated so that we don't have any surprise lumps when we add our flour. Look at that yummy texture. Oh, I wish you guys could smell it. So next we're going to put our flour in a separate bowl just so that we can whisk the dry ingredients. And we're going to add the 5.5 cups of flour. And then we're going to add a pinch of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder. Then we're going to whisk the dry ingredients all together and get them ready to add to the dough. Then I just add them to the dough 1 scoop at a time and mix on low so that I don't have a super huge mess to clean up off of the floor. Once you've added all the flour, continue mixing until the dough all joins into one ball and separates from the side and gathers every little bit of dough in the bottom. That's when you know it's perfect. This is the Play-Doh texture you're going for. That just lets you know it's a perfect consistency. And now your dough is ready for rolling out and cutting. So you do not have to chill this recipe. You can if you want. This will give a little bit of spread, but it's a perfect cookie to decorate. One of my favorite baking hacks for sugar cookies is using 2 pieces of parchment paper to roll your cookies out, because you don't want to do it on a floured surface, because all that does is change the consistency and texture and taste of your dough. So this is a huge hack to only use parchment paper to roll out your dough. I also love mine thick, so I have a roller that comes with a disc that I can choose which size I want to use to cut my cookies. And the cutters I'm going to use for these cookies are Mickey gingerbread theme, and they're just simple shapes. I'm going to have my family decorating these and my nieces, so just wanted something kind of fun and classic and simple and something Disney themed. Make sure to put them 1 to 2 inches apart on the pan. And bake them at 350 for 15 minutes. Just check because each oven is different. And then you can use one of these tools I got from Hobby Lobby, and it just kind of flattens out any holes. But as you can see, they're pretty flat. But in case you have any bubbles or anything and want to flatten them, you can use this little flattener tool. So you can see they keep their shape really well. I did overbake these just a little bit, so next time I'll definitely go a little bit lower on the bake time. Then you'll just want to seal them in a container until you're ready to decorate. So now for the royal icing, all you need is confectioner's sugar, light corn syrup, meringue powder, and water. You can add vanilla, but I use meringue powder that is already flavored vanilla, so that's why I did not add vanilla in this video. You will need 15 cups of powdered sugar, or you can do 2 of the 2-pound bags. You will add 1/3 of a cup of meringue powder, and you're going to dry mix that with the mixer just to kind of incorporate it around a little bit. Add your corn syrup and your water. Either way, it doesn't matter. You can do the liquids either way, but I always mix as I'm pouring the liquid in and just do a little bit at a time so that it incorporates and you can tell how wet it's getting, so you don't over add. Sometimes I do the light corn syrup by just eyeballing, and that's fine, but I would say 1/4 of a cup would be good for that. And then you're going to just mix it on high for 5 minutes so that it gets the whipped peaks. If it has like the Dairy Queen curl, when you pull it out, it is done. You'll want to put it in a airtight container so that you can either store it a couple weeks at room temperature or you can freeze it. And now for the most fun part, the decorating. So first we're going to make sure that we have our piping bags and some spatulas and a cup to put the bag in so it's easy to fill once you make the color. I always set these out first and have them ready because the icing does crisp pretty fast. So once you take that lid off, you're risking the icing drying. So I prepare both bags. I have a smaller bag for the pipe consistency, and then I have a bigger bag for the flood consistency. So next I'm going to put a little bit of icing into this bowl, and then I will add the food coloring and mix, and this will become both the pipe and the flood of this specific color. Now you can add your food coloring, and just remember that a little goes a long way. I love AmeriColor because the flavor is good no matter how dark you make the color that you're wanting. So the more saturation, the more saturated the color, it doesn't affect the taste like it does with Wilton food colors. So if you can get AmeriColor, you can get it online, especially Amazon. Those are just, to me, the best food coloring. Once you get the desired color that you want, now you can separate the two. So if that consistency is good for you, you can just take a spoonful of that and put it in the piping bag. Or if you want to add extra water, you can, but you want to make sure it gives you that nice Dairy Queen dip curl, and then that is what you'll use to do all the piping and then the little details on your cookies. Then you're going to do a helicopter with the bag, seal it. I use these little clips that I got from Amazon. You can get them from Truly Mad Plastics, which is a website. I can try to remember to link those below, but you can get them on Amazon. They're just like little chip clamps, and those are perfect for keeping the bag tight as you go. Now for the flood, This one is the tricky part. It's going to really take a lot of practice. I just squirt a little bit of water in at a time and kind of stir and can kind of eyeball the consistency that I need, because it is a fine line between too runny or too thick. I typically like the 5-second flood. It's just faster. It for me, I have less mistakes, and it allows me to pipe a lot quicker. So depending on the time that you have and your skill level, this is just something that's going to come with practice. So good news is that even though it's annoying to redo, you can always redo it. You don't want to add extra powdered sugar if you do make it too wet, because that's going to change the consistency and the taste. So just remember to do a little bit at a time, and just play with it, and you'll get better and better. And once it's ready, you're just going to pour it into your other bag, and then repeat the same process with the helicopter. That will help get some of the air bubbles out, and then close it with a clip. So now for the therapeutic and really fun part is the decorating. So these cookies right here, I forgot to say in the earlier part of the video, but I made some cinnamon sugar cookies. And if you want to do that, you literally just, once you've cut the shapes out and put them on the pan, you just sprinkle cinnamon sugar over it and then bake them like that. And then I just call that my snickerdoodle cookie, but they are so delicious. It does make the icing harder to stick to as you're decorating, but if you can get the piping to stick, once it's flooded, it doesn't go anywhere. So that's just a fun little flavor you can add to your recipe. To pipe, you're just going to cut a very teeny tiny tip of the bag off. Just big enough for, if you're familiar with the Wilton cake piping tips, you want it to be about a 3 as the size. So just a little bit bigger than a pinhole, obviously, but thick enough to hold a flood, to kind of build a wall, so to speak, for the flood to lay in perfectly when you go to flood the cookie. For flooding, you're going to cut a little bit bigger hole, but you're just going to hold it directly over the cookie and kind of let it ooze out, and just guide it with your hand. And then you want to get a toothpick or something sharp to kind of pop out any bubbles, because it will bubble a little bit. And then you're going to continue flooding the entire pan until they're all flooded, and then you'll just set those to the side to dry. Then I bagged up the rest of the colors that I was using for this set, and then continued to decorate. And once you're done decorating, you can just leave them out overnight to dry, or you can eat them right away. It's up to you, but you want to let them dry if you're going to gift wrap them or give them to someone. Didn't they turn out so adorable? I just love making cookies. It's just like a little art gift that you're giving people that is delicious. With that, guys, today's video is over. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. We'll see you real soon. But until then, have a magical Christmas. Bye!